from the YBA Phoenix Fitness 24/7 basketball facility in Rockland, California. It's Bout That Life podcast with your host, Coach C. Collins and Coach MJ.
Get started. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Hey, going on About That Life podcast. I'm Coach C. Collins.
Coach MJ, GGT.
We're here to talk basketball, AAU Basketball, life, and everything in between. Again, thank you for those who are tuning in and listening. Thank you for those who are supporting. We are definitely growing little by little by little, and it's really cool. It's really organic, which I really appreciate. We're growing on the YouTube subscribers little by little, getting more guests, more interaction on the Instagram, which is great. Like I said, we reached over our 10,000 download mark for 2021, which was amazing. So, for those who keep supporting and keep help this thing going, we appreciate you a lot. Shout out to our sponsors, Dr. Dish, best shooting machine on the market. They have the home version, All-Star Rebel. Go ahead and check them out. Let them know About That Life sent you. They'll hook you up with a discount. Also, big shout out to our other sponsor, West Coast Legends. If you're looking for jerseys, sublimation, anything that has to do with uniforms, basketball, or T-shirt events, anything, they can pretty much graphic design anything you want. They're actually working on a T-shirt that I showed to Mark not too long ago, the NBA Jams one. Remember that one? So they're actually,
I need one of those.
Yeah, our merch is going to be coming out soon. We're trying to push more and more merch out in a little while. So if you would like to get one of those shirts, please feel free, DM us, hit us up. We appreciate the support and everybody out there. And then, of course, always big shout out to the Patreon members who support us month after month after month, whether you're donating $1, or I shouldn't say donate, whether you're investing $1 or $25, $50, hey, man, it all helps. And you guys have no idea how grateful me and Mark are that the show is actually being recognized in the basketball community. On the quick news, right, where we got a bunch of people that nominate that Sac Trending, right, the Sac Trending Awards. A lot of people shout us out and our podcast out. I think we're gonna, be top 5 or nominated top 5. We find out December 17th or 16th. That's when votes will be available. And I guess we'll find out if we win best Sacramento podcast of 2021. So. And shout out to
get it. Speak it to existence.
I hope so, man. I hope so. But also shout out to all the other content creators out there.
For sure, for sure.
We get it. It's hard to be consistent. It's hard to keep going through, especially if you feel like you're not growing fast, because we aren't. You know what I mean? Like we're not growing fast, but we are growing, which I know for me is encouraging. Anytime I see from one day we only had about 10 downloads of people listening. Then the next day we have 52. Then the next day we have 72. Then the next day 105. Like every single time I see those numbers, man, it just keeps me encouraged. And I'm sure it's the same for you, Mark. So with all that being said, I want to get to our guest because I'm really excited to have him. He has he's a trainer, much like me and Mark. Obviously, I'm a combination of the AAU world and training world, but I definitely can appreciate this man for taking the time to come out here. This is my first time meeting him, but I've heard a lot of good things about him. Coach Tet speaks real highly of you, and Kai Huntsberry, I coached him, so he speaks highly of you. And a lot of the guys you work with, I know just through AAU and playing ball, or them coming up here and playing ball. So I'm glad you're here, man.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. I'm gonna get into who he is. The biggest thing I will say from me observing and researching you, because I did my homework. I researched you. You really just stay in your lane and you just focus on your craft, and you try to stay away from the bullshit, which is. We're going to talk about a lot, but I get it, man, and it is really cool and appreciated. So without further ado, let me introduce Rashid Cann. Shine, a.k.a. Shine. Right? We won't use your government name the whole time.
Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Let me give a quick rundown for our listeners who don't know who you are. Obviously, locally, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to know who you are, but I want to get rundown. You correct me if I'm wrong on anything that I'm saying, but I want to go circle back from I'm going to go from your high school, briefly your high school, your basketball accolades and career into your collegiate, and then kind of what you're doing professionally, and we'll keep rolling from there. So, high school wise, it says you did three years, or excuse me, sorry. Oh, okay, here we go. I averaged basically 12 points a game, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, got Metro Conference Championship, regional semifinals, 2-time Metro 4 all-conference selection, and was honorable mention all-city as a junior and senior. Is that all correct? Yeah, right. Okay, I know it's a while ago. I'm just telling you what it says. I'm telling you what the internet says. What high school did you go to?
Grimsley.
Okay,
Senior
Grimsley.
high school.
Okay, cool. And then you went to Norfolk State.
HBCU, right?
HBCU, yes.
Hey, okay.
And overall, well, before I even get into just all the basketball stuff, I mean, overall, what was we're big on trying to promote HBCUs here, obviously, us being 2 black men, and just in general, what would you say your overall experience with that was? Good, bad, and different? I mean, it's college, so everything is different.
For me, the experience of the school was cool. I really enjoyed it. My basketball experience there wasn't.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And then, so it says you did 3 years there. You walked on?
Yeah.
Walked
I did
on?
4 years.
4 years? Okay.
Nice.
Sorry. Then, yeah, here it is. Freshman year. Sorry. 4 years. Senior year, or your senior year looks like you started pretty much, it says 25 out of 30 games. Let's see, had 26 steals, averaged over 11 points a game. Let's see, 4 assists. It looks like you were doing really solid, consistent numbers. And then from there, you went overseas, correct?
Yeah, well, not directly after I graduated, but I ended up playing.
Okay, played overseas. And how many years did you play?
So I was in about 3 or 4 years. I went to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Played in the Bahamas, played the British Virgin Islands national team.
Okay.
My family's from the Caribbean. So
Okay, nice. Nice.
Yeah.
And then from, fast forward, we go here. It says this was stuff I got from LinkedIn. It says you were trainer and head coach for the Junior Kings.
I used to
NBA
run that.
youth. You used to run that side of it from 2014 to
2017.
Yep. And then
I haven't updated that in the
right. It's fine. That's what I'm saying. You fill in the blanks, and then basically from there, you created your own LLC, right? Shine Athletics, and kind of from there, you've been doing your own thing, right?
Yeah.
Kind of having your own, which again, I mean, we're all business owners in this room, so I really try to emphasize that to our listeners and the kids listening and stuff like that. Is there anything major I maybe missed, or anything you want to speak on your path?
Well, I've been training for about 12 years.
Okay.
I used to work for Cann Basketball.
Okay.
That's actually how I got into training.
All right.
I just became a business owner probably the last few years. I've been doing training business longer than that, but I had to learn what it means to actually do an LLC and all that type of stuff.
This is stuff, and I was funny enough, I was talking with Ted as I was prepping for the show yesterday about it. This is stuff I just wish we learned and were taught earlier, right? Because I'm 38 years old. I didn't learn about a lot of this stuff until later in life. And what you just spoke on is something I wish I would have known, you know what I mean? Like, if I could take the knowledge I know now and put it when I was 22, 23, 24, be a different life, man. So, that's another reason why I created this show, because of the stories and the information I want to get out there, especially the young black men. They need to know this stuff.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Well, let's get to the first thing. So, I always ask this kind of as my lead question, and I understand your perspective. It's very similar to what I would believe, like our last guest, Blair. He does lead before. I think you two might have the same perspective, because Mark dealt with it a little bit. I deal with it a lot, and we were joking about it earlier. What's your overall experience with AAU? When you look at, good, bad, indifferent. Oh, and I'm sorry, before I even ask that, did you play AAU basketball, or did you have?
I did, but I stopped playing.
Okay.
when I was about a junior. Soccer was actually my first sport.
Oh, really? Okay.
I grew up playing soccer.
All right, makes sense.
So it wasn't big back east.
Now, well, now that you see it, right? Because we'll obviously get into the training aspect and the kind of the kids in particular you've trained who clearly built some notoriety for themselves, things like that. So you've had to have seen their journeys and had to have heard the stories and just see all the craziness with AAU basketball. What do you overall see, good, bad, and different? Like, what's your overall assessment of it all?
I'm not a huge fan of it.
Okay, all right. You go ahead and elaborate on that, please.
And again, this is all my experience.
Yeah,
and what I've seen. It's not,
yeah, that's how I want you to speak your side of it.
With what I've saw with AAU is pretty much you get the top players or the best players, and what I saw is just roll the ball out. You're not really developing. They're not really developing the kids to get better, and the ones that are late bloomers, they kind of get lost because they're late bloomers.
Here, let me scoot the mic in. Sorry.
Okay,
no, you're good. There you go.
The cutthroat of it, you're good for us now, but then the next best thing sometimes we just bump you off or bump maybe the kid that's probably like 8th on the team, that probably was trying to work their way to become a starter or play more. And then also the culture of it in general of kids just being able to just leave a team and just go to another team because they're not happy off of one tournament. And I think mentally it kind of affects kids when they go to high schools and college. And then sometimes through experience seeing coaches that aren't really knowledgeable enough to really help these kids become better players, athletes, but also, character.
Yeah.
I think character is a big thing. And so that's my experience with it. And I know there's pros to it as well. I've seen some good things, but overall, it's almost like a love-hate relationship with it.
He's on fire!
Great job. That's exactly what I want to hear. No, I appreciate it, man. Because we talk about this on the show. I mean, if you ever get a chance to, I know you're a busy guy like me, but if you get free moments, please listen to the show. In previous episodes,
I looked a little bit up. I'm gonna listen to some more.
Right.
I listened to it.
Yeah, no, like you'll hear us say a lot of kind of what you said, and you're right. I really, I think Tet said it a few episodes, and Tet's always saying some deep shit, Mark. Tet's always saying some deep shit. Shout out to Tet, but he said like there's no more like investment, or there's a lot of coaching, but not a lot of coaches.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? There's a million AAU programs. There's a million. I mean, at this point, man, there's more. And the crazy part is, no matter how many AAU programs there are, there's still more kids. You know what I mean? There's always more kids than AAU programs, and there's new AAU programs every other weekend. I mean, you go to Harwood any weekend, they're going to see like 20 new teams, right?
It's amazing how they can do tournaments every weekend.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And again, with the volume of it, obviously there's going to be a lot of people who call themselves coaches, but I think we all are intelligent enough to understand and know the difference with like a real invested coach and things like that. And then it's very true what you said, and I think I talked about it last episode. We talked about it. I call it now the Ben Simmons effect. The kids bouncing from team to team or basically acting like bitches, right? Yeah. I don't like this, man. Fuck it. You not calling me elite? Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, well, look at how it transcends to the NBA now. You know what I mean? That's that same attitude, that same, Ben Simmons, I'm unhappy. People in Philly are treating me mean because I didn't get us to a potential finals appearance, even though, yes, you are to blame for that because you're not working on your weaknesses and you're being inconsistent. So what is he doing? Well, I'm just going to sit out and not play until you trade me and do what I want, right?
Right.
I talk about that a lot. I think if there's not some serious changes in the culture of AAU basketball, this is just going to get worse and worse and worse, because that's essentially what we're preaching and teaching. You know what I mean? Kids are very, especially as they grow up, what I've learned coaching kids and things like that, they're very intuitive. They pick up on energy. They pick up on, you know, like it's the subtext.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? More than, you know, like if I preach to my son, you know, don't drink, or how about this? Something as simple as, you don't need no tattoos. Don't get no tattoos. Like, don't get any tattoos. Well, he's gonna look at me and go,
like, well,
you know what I mean? Like, kids are more perceptive than people give them credit for, right? And so if we're preaching a culture of, are saying all the right things, like be loyal, you know, work hard. I take the kids who play defense. But then the moment a kid comes in who's 6'9" and can drop 30, you like, oh yeah. Oh, we'll find a spot for you. You know what I mean? You know, it's hard for what I see is there's not a lot of coaches that will stick with their convictions.
Yeah.
Did you have anything with that one, Mark?
No.
Yeah. Same shit, different day.
Yeah.
Well, then let's go into you. From my perspective, and you know, you seem like a pretty cool, humble guy. I know you haven't met. It's like, but I'm gonna, you know, pat you on the back right now. So you've essentially become a pretty well-known public figure, especially in the training community amongst athletes. I've heard some of my athletes talk about you. As I said, I want to go through some of the names of some of the notable kids you've been training over the years. You have Noah Blackwell, Jordan Brown, Jordan Ford, Terrell Roberts, Bryce Presley, Kai Huntsberry. You train Peja Stojakovic's son, right? I've seen him play. He's at Jesuit, right? I think I even tried to recruit him 2 years ago, but either way. And like I said, there's probably plenty other kids that you're working with, and you know, I can see they're extremely grateful. You know, one being recent, in most probably people's recent mind is Issa, right? Issa Silva at Stanford. You know, the list goes on, right? And obviously with his success, it transcended to your success and notoriety. Absolutely. But again, like you said, from my observation, you just stay in your lane. You're like, fucking, I'm still just doing what I did since day one. But how does that feel? I mean, describe that. I mean, and to me, it should be like, it's okay to validate yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you put in work, brother, and it's okay to look at the fruits of your labor and sit back and be like, you know what, I'm pretty proud of it. How do you feel about this overall body of work?
I mean, it's amazing. It's a blessing, especially when kids are able to go to school for free, and then kids are able to make money moving, and you've been part of that journey. Also, I'm pretty close to a lot of my kids too, so I have a relationship with them outside of hoop, their families. So it just feels like, you know, family, close, like the neighborhood.
Right.
You know, I know that I've been a big part of it, and you know, they let me know as well. Right. And so it's kind of surreal. Like I mean, I can't really explain it. I mean, you guys know when you have kids that you've worked with that have some type of success, it's not really about, oh, I did that, but it's just like, I remember when you couldn't do none of this and we was in the gym grinding, and you know, it's just cool to see. So it feels it's like another day in the life. You know what I mean? Honestly, it's like, this is what I do, man. This is what I do. So it's definitely something dope.
All right.
So I kind of want to elaborate on that just because, like I said, like I've been a big fan of yours from afar, just because, again, you know, like to me it's just the attention to detail of how you do things. And to me, you know, like Chris knows, like I'm big on just like what you were saying earlier about character, you know, because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, you're going to work. Right. But at the end of the day, I feel like what I like from you and what I see is how you build character and you talk about that, you know, because I'm big on mindset, you know, and mindfulness and stuff like that. For me, you know, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, like, you know, because I've been training for about 3 or 4 years, you know, and like you said, like you've been doing this for a decade, you know, and I understand.
crazy.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, you know, because I was just listening to something where it talks about overnight success, that it takes almost 10 plus years to, you know, to really see the success, you know, and to kind of just see what you've been doing. Like, it really inspires me and motivates me. One of the things that I wanted to ask you is just like, kind of like, what is like your why, you know, when it comes to, because I know how it is, you know, like being with a kid and training early in the morning, late at night, day after day. What is kind of like your motivation, you know, why you've been doing this for 12 years, you know?
I mean, love for the game, passion. I know for me growing up, grew up with a single mom, grew up in the hood, didn't have a lot. So even though I'm getting paid for it now, when I first started training, I was literally just working out back east at the YMCA. I was a personal trainer, but I was just shooting. I was working out because I wanted to play professionally. And the dad just, you know, came in and was like, "Can you work out my son? Like, we see him here all the time." Like, yeah, for sure. I wasn't in charge of him. I was just like, yeah, let's get this work in. Then he paid me after, and I'm like, what? It was like $20.
Right.
But I just graduated. I'm like, yo, okay. You
Right.
don't have to do that. It was
Right.
weird.
Yeah.
But I just wanted, that's just instilled in me because I didn't have a trainer. I grew up on A1 mixtape. I grew up on Skip. I grew up on volume 1 through 5 and 6. I grew up on all that.
Did you have the VHSs or
Yeah,
did you have
VHS, yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I grew up on that. I grew up hooping outside.
Yep.
Grew up hooping with OGs that will foul you like no other. And if you dare try to call a foul, they're going to be like,
Get your bitch ass out of here.
Exactly. You know, I grew up doing that. So I just had that grit and grind in me. And, you know, I meet kids that are financially able to pay for training, and I also meet players or families that are not.
Yeah.
But you can tell if someone's trying to take advantage of you or they're just genuinely. So it's just, it's a love for it. So that's my why in the sense of just always trying to help, regardless if you have the means to pay for training or the means not to. Is like, what do you want?
Yeah.
And back to what you were saying, like the mental aspect. Like, I've realized that in the last few years, like how important mental health is as a individual, an athlete or non-athlete. So sometimes, man, I'm working with kids that probably aren't going to play at a high level. But I know it's more than that for them. So I mean, I just you know, just trying to help as much as I can.
Okay.
Very cool. Now, have you ever, you know, because again, I feel as you've climbed up this ladder, you're gonna have different people approach you, pros approach you, guys overseas, whatever. But can you recall a time where you had someone approach you saying, "Hey, train my kid," or "train myself," where even in the back of your mind you felt intimidated? Where you were like, "Ooh, I wonder if I'm gonna do a good job or not." Yeah, I mean, we don't talk about that much, but even trainers, we can feel that sometimes.
Yes, I'll tell you. I had the opportunity to work with a young lady, Sabrina Ionescu. The first time I was able to work with her, I knew who she was, and I was just like, okay, like, she's a little different than most, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And I've evolved personally as a trainer. So, you know, I was nervous with that. I was nervous with, I helped, who did I help? I helped my boy, Jared Waters. He did Marquise Chris's pre-draft, Jay Wilson's pre-draft. And, that was through like mutual people, and I was a little It was weird because I the stuff he asked me to help him do with is stuff that I do,
right?
But just because it's like, okay, I don't want to mess up this
opportunities.
Like, hey, warm him up with some ball handling and put him through some like. All right, I mean, I know how to do that. I literally just did that two hours ago, right?
Yeah.
So that would be one. I mean, those would be some good examples. I would say running a camp. Like in front of like hundreds of kids. Like I worked at Michael Jordan flight school camp. I mean, MJ, like,
Right, it's MJ, so
come on, man.
make you feel a little nervous, right?
Yeah, but the first camp I did with Gannon Baker, well, him, like, I don't know if y'all know who he is. He was pretty much,
who he is.
So back east, he was like the original trainer.
He's still doing it right now.
He's still doing
still
it.
moving, still hype, energy.
Yeah. So I was intimidated. Actually, he's the reason why I got into training. Or he got me into it, but I was intimidated training in front because he was the type of dude where, like, you want to work for me? All right, let me see how you train. And he'll just sit there
And
watch
analyze
you train, analyze. I'm like, yo, like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well,
so yeah, those, yeah.
no, that's good. I just think, because, well, you know, you could look at any of our social media. We all look super confident all the time, right?
Yeah.
But again, that's the business side of it. That's our marketing side of it. But I try to, I want people to see the humanity in us too. Like, we get nervous. You know what I mean? We might think to ourselves like, oh shit, you know, like if you know, if De'Aaron Fox walked in and was like, yeah, I'm looking for Chris Collins. Hey, can you train me? Yeah, in the back of my mind, I might be like, shit.
Yeah, like,
all right. You know, let me make sure I do some good drills. Like, so I just was curious if people, you know, saw that side of you. That's all.
Yeah, I've had that. there's other times too I can go into, but yeah. I
want you to talk about the Mark sent me a clip, and I thought it was really cool. You got the Sacramento Kings presented you with was it like Coach of the Year or Community Award or whatnot? Community Award.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that? Describe that.
After it was all said and done, I felt it more.
Okay.
When I got the opportunity to receive it, I mean, I didn't like put my name in.
Right,
they just contacted me, and I was like, okay, cool.
That's dope.
And then going through the process, and then they give you this crown that was made from steel, and it was made with from kids in some program in SAC that were learning a craft, learning a trade.
Wow.
That didn't have much, and so they made that, and it was
made it for you.
Yeah, so it was super dope, and it's heavy, like it's like heavy. I'm like, dang, this is crazy. So after that, like, I'm never the type to like, oh, I'm winning this. I'm like, I've never been like that type of guy. Yeah. So it was cool. But then after the fact, one of the kids that I trained, his dad received that award, and I look up to him. He's like my mentor. His name is the kid's name is Jaden Teague. He goes to Jesuit. His dad's name Darrell Teague.
Okay.
He's like my mentor. He, you know, we talk about a lot of things. He received that a while ago. I didn't know that, and it was dope. And then Josiah Johnson's dad, Chris Johnson, he goes to Sheldon. Do you know who he is?
Chris Johnson. Is he a coach? Does he
coach?
No, that's a different Chris Johnson than I'm thinking.
So Josiah Johnson goes to Sheldon, but his dad he was on Shark Tank, and he got a deal, and he's like this bazillionaire. You know,
oh, shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to him. Super dope dude. Also another mentor. He took me up to his office. Like, he invented the instant ramen cooker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
And the rice cooker, he invented that, and it took off.
Damn, he said.
Yeah.
It's good.
So anyway, he received that award. So when I heard about that after the fact, you know, it was like, dang, like, then I kind of thought about, like, did I deserve it? Because, like I said, I'm never the type looking for that. And then also paying homage and respect to the trainers, or not, I wouldn't say just trainers, because it's not about being a trainer, but just being someone in, like, I'm not from SAC either.
Right.
And there's other people that have been out here for a long time and doing things. So I always want to be respectful in that way of saying, like, I appreciate this award, and it's dope, but I also shout out to those people who have been here, that born and raised in SAC, that's been doing stuff that people probably don't even know about.
That's dope.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's a great perspective to have, because there's plenty of motherfuckers that would just say, yeah, I'm the best. Fuck y'all. Got my trophy. You voted. I'm great. You all can kiss my ass. So, you have the right mentality.
I feel like getting an award like that, where, like, again, like you didn't put your name in a hat or
Yeah.
like it came from the community. Just shows how powerful your impact is. Again, like you said, you're not even from here. So to me, I feel like that's pretty special to where, you know, people who see the work that you've been doing, the impact that you've made, give you this recognition. Because again, like I said, like, you know, like I saw the video and you know, you at the Kings game and like you said, and of course then you saying like how heavy this thing is and who made it, like that really is, I feel like a special moment, you know what I'm saying, just from all the work that you've done. So props to you, bro. That's
Appreciate
dope.
that.
Big time. One recurring theme I saw on your Instagram when I was just like thinking of questions and really researching you, one thing, and again, you correct me if I'm wrong on it, but one thing I think you're big on is patience. That's something you recurrently, I saw brought up a lot, which I always talk about pillars. I always call them like, I feel each trainer has 3 to 4 pillars that build the foundation of their training, right? Like for myself, for example, mine is bigger, faster, stronger, right? Like strong body, strong athlete. So my emphasis is on a lot of plyometrics, strength, conditioning, and basics, right? I think for Mark, it's more
Passion, obsession, and drive.
Yep, and then with the mental aspect, right? Assuming patience is one of your pillars, what would you say are 2 other things?
I would say definitely detail. Translation. Definitely gritty. I put up grit.
Grit.
Sure you kind of just, you gotta grind it out. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense. Makes sense. It's good for these kids to hear. Have you recognized any weaknesses in your training, like abilities? Like, because again, I think every trainer, we all have our own point of emphasis, but we can also recognize like, I might not be as good at that. Have you ever, as you've evolved through the years, have you recognized those things in yourself and kind of worked to make those things better?
Absolutely. I mean, that's how I evolved. Before, when I first started training, I mean, I would do too much in a training session and not really focus on 1 or 2 things. People used to, well, probably still do, but it would kind of bother me that people come to me only strictly for ball handling because I thought I provided more, and I had to sit back like maybe, you know, they don't see that in the training.
Right, right.
Not that I couldn't do it, but probably in the training they just didn't see that. So yeah, I definitely had to evolve with, you know, changing my style to the game, and then also know something like, all right, well, I want people to know that I can help you out with your shot too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one thing for sure, and I think I'm past that now because most of my guys, they can shoot.
Right. Well, that's good to hear. So is there any, do you have any, like, I don't know, any outside upcoming projects or any camps or anything coming up that you want to speak on or put out there right now?
Right now, I'm just, you know, in the stage of just trying to develop more content. I don't have any camps set up right now, but I'm sure I'll have some coming up in the spring, so look out for that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just really focusing on my content and trying to get more stuff out through online and virtually, so people can have more access to that.
And it's good you spoke on that, because that kind of leads to my next question. You know, with social media, the relationships you build, you know, content creation, things like that, collaborating with others. Since you've been in the game for quite a while, how tremendous of a component of that has helped your business move forward? You know what I mean? Like the relationships, the networking, all the above, like the social aspect of it. Yeah. How has that helped progress your business outside of just training the kids? Because that's obvious. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, a ton. It's tough because I like being like this. Me, I'm under a rock. You want to come train me under this rock. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. And that's just, I've always been that type of person. And so over the years, I understand that, you know, social media is big, and then connecting with people. Tell you a funny story with MJ.
Yeah.
I mean, I get trainers hit me up all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys know in the training game, coaching game, like sometimes you just don't know with people.
You don't know their intentions.
You don't
Absolutely.
know their intentions. And I've been kind of blocked off with that. And I think our connection happened because of our mutual friend, G.
Yeah. Shout out to G, Herman, Maduino.
Yeah.
Shout out to G.
Splash for him.
Yeah. Because
No idea who that is, but that's okay.
Because MJ, he hit me up before, and you know I responded and stuff, but I really wasn't trying to like let him in,
Right,
You know,
right.
type of thing.
And that's fair enough, because as you grown your business, you're gonna have the bad story. I mean, you've tried. And again, it's not to cut you off. I'm just saying. I'm assuming you've tried to let others in the past, and it's probably burnt you. I get it.
Exactly. So it, you know, I think that's super important because I read a lot of books with business building and all that stuff, and you know how to make money and stuff. Like you can't do it alone.
Yeah,
at the end of the
absolutely.
day. So meeting people definitely has propelled me, helped me. Even though I have to do better on my social media, and shout out to MJ Productions,
MJ, yeah.
He's actually the reason why my social media is where it is.
Nice.
Because he, you know, I used to train him when he was a hooper.
I'll tell you a funny story or quick connection with him. His brother Alex played for me and won a national Bigfoot tournament with me back in 2016.
That's dope.
Dang, that's crazy.
That's how I'm saying these connections. He was with DB. He was on that team. That's how crazy all these connections are all the time.
Did you know? Well, he wasn't doing film. He wasn't doing camera.
No, I didn't realize that was Alex's brother till last year. Ain't that fucking crazy? He's like, Chris, you didn't know? You coached my brother. I was like, who's your brother?
Yeah.
It's like, Alex. Alex ain't your fucking brother. And he's like, no, that's my brother.
Yeah.
And then obviously their dad, who I love to death, he's crazy as hell. But
Man.
I love
Maurice. Shout out Mr. Maurice.
So that's what I love people hearing all these crazy connections in the basketball community.
Right.
But yeah, MJ's doing an amazing job.
Man, yeah, so that helps. Yeah, you need it, especially now. I mean, everything's on social media. You need that, and so yeah.
All right, and then. Well, then my last question before we move on to hot takes, which kind of is perfect because it leads into it. Have you dealt with levels of hate and animosity as you've evolved and grown? I'm sure you have. You don't have to give me full details if you don't want to call nobody out, but feel free if you want to. I do shit. I do that shit all the time.
That's what I call
but if you
life.
don't, I totally get it, brother. I respect it. However, is there just something maybe a story that stood out or something that alluded to that really like made you sit back and go, "Guys, damn, that's some shady shit." You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I've heard, you know, kind of hate stuff. I've had trainers try to downplay my training style to players.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
I've had, you know, I've heard that most people think I'm really big time because I don't put myself out there and I don't collab with a lot of people. I've had trainers slide in my players' DMs and try to I don't use that term steal, but like trying to get them into their gym just so they can kind of post and you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've had that. I've had people block me from opportunities because they know how good I am. And if I got that opportunity with them, then I probably would overtake their shine or whatever.
Right. No pun intended.
No pun intended. Yeah, it's pretty interesting, man. But again, I know that comes with the territory, and then I'm always, you know, if I'm not doing it right, then I wouldn't have that. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I'm not. Yeah. It's not affecting me directly, you know. But
it's unfortunate it happens. I totally agree because I'm all. I mean, you don't know me personally, but ask any of my players, ask anyone around. I think I consider myself very authentic and very real, and but the biggest thing is I'm all about community and especially collaborating and working with each other. I mean, shit, that's why you're here. I mean, that's why that's how I met him. I mean, I'm big on letting people in, and then they show me who they are.
Yeah.
Has that formula sometimes burnt me in the past? Absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's perfect. It's not. You run a risk when you let somebody in, right? But you compartmentalize it. You know what I mean? As people prove to you their authenticity and their intentions, you relinquish a little more.
Right.
Obviously, because like I said, this is the conundrum you're in. Your notoriety comes from the players you've coached and trained because of their success. And with that, it's going to create envy and jealousy because there's a lot of trainers that want that sixth level of success. They want to have that stamp of an Issa, right? Of a Jordan Brown, a Noah Blackwell. Like, why am I not that guy next to him? So, of course, it creates a lot of envy and animosity towards you. So for you to have maneuvered and managed it the way you have and continue to, a lot of credit to you, brother.
Thank you.
A lot of credit to you.
Can I ask him one?
Go ahead.
So I want to, before we get into hot takes, and this is just something that, I've always kind of wanted to ask you, just especially with some of the players that I work with in the small community that I have, like for you, like for example, for, Jordan Ford, when it comes to an athlete, right, where, right, the prototype is size, athleticism, right, the physical gifts, and somebody like you who, like I said, like I respect you, I love what you do, like say for Jordan or even Issa in a way, when it comes to the development side, right, how do you develop a player who doesn't have the size, the athleticism, the strength to to develop them to still become elite? So for you, what I'm saying, because again, like, I don't have too many kids. Like I said, I'm not in Sacramento or the Bay, so it's like whoever I train is who I train.
Absolutely.
And from there, I start from scratch and I just work. That's why I'm so big about the mental, because to me it's 90%.
Yeah.
The kid believes in himself, then anything can happen. But from a skill development size for you, because I know, Jordan isn't 6'6".
Yeah.
Issa ain't, Issa's pretty athletic, but he's not like, he got a 40-inch vertical. But yet he's here at Stanford. He's playing at Compton Magic. Jordan, like you told me earlier, he averaged 35, and you showed me a picture of his body, and he was playing with Oakland Soldiers. And the one thing that you said, which different for you, as a trainer, what are your focus points with a player like that who doesn't necessarily have the physical gifts?
I'm high on skill, man.
Yeah.
Like, skill over everything. Even if you have those physical gifts, because I've been in the game so long, I know that eventually those are going to get canceled out when you meet someone with the same gifts. But the skill set, like Jordan, we didn't know how tall he was going to get.
Yeah.
So, and to this day, he still can't dunk. I'm calling you out.
Shout out to Jordan.
We try to get him to dunk. Like it's actually comedy. Like he's the only NBA player that I know that can't dunk. But like he may have had one dunk in his life, and it was at practice at St. Mary's, and he posted it.
Yeah.
But going back to when he was younger, he was tiny. Like, okay, I don't know. You got to work on these floaters, high finishes. You got to get a jumper, because I don't know if you're going to grow.
Yeah.
And you got to handle the ball so well to where it's like, even if you like have 5 people on you, like they would never take the ball.
Yeah.
So you would think of those things.
Okay.
The skill set work that will help a player even that can't. If you can't jump and run by somebody, what can you do to provide? Are you your IQ? Can you shoot it? When you get into the paint, what things can you do? You're not going to go all the way to the rim. So, and then, that's pretty much it. It's just the skill set and the IQ is just super important, and I'll try to instill that.
Yeah. What would you say for like Jordan and Issa, like when it comes to their mentality from when they were younger to now? Was there something that kind of, like you said with Jordan, like you said, like he different, like most kids don't approached the game the way he did. You know, was it the same thing with Issa as well, as he leveled up over the years, the maturity, the character, and everything, like the killer mindset? Because some kids don't have that. Some kids are passive. They might be talented, but they don't want to eat. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So with Jordan and Issa, how was that? You know,
with Ford, he had that mentality. You know, he had that instilled in him, and it's not because he ain't from like the trenches. But family doesn't have a lot of money. Like good, wholesome family, but they have such a his family is close knit that they supported him. Yeah, and when he wasn't his best, they still supported him, and I think that's important because I see some parents when kids aren't performing a certain way. Yeah. It's like the kid did something wrong. Like he's a kid, you know what I'm saying?
You got to give it time.
Yeah. So I think that helped him out, and his demeanor of his family they're like that. Okay. They don't get like his dad never got. He doesn't yell at games. He doesn't get riled up. His mom doesn't yell at games. They don't get riled up, and his dad had a relationship with him where he can just talk to him. Yeah. And Ford will receive it. Right, and even if he didn't agree with it all the time, he'll still receive it and just move on. But it was no friction, so that was huge. Yeah. Issa, on the other hand, is different. Yeah, bro. Issa had that fight. He always had the fight. That's just who he is. Yeah, full Mexican. Yeah, family, Mexico, but like Salinas. Salinas, if y'all ever, Salinas. It's you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Mom is from Calusa, I think. Soila, please. I hope that's correct. But they all came from nothing, and they're more well off. Yeah. But he's always had that fight, and I can see that in his parents. Even though they're more well off, as far as financially and what they do for a living, how they move is that mentality, like where they came from somewhere where they don't want to go back to. Yeah, yeah. And so Issa has that in him. Okay. The difference with Issa, though, is he's always had that chip on his shoulder, and he always thinks he's right. Yeah. And that's my dude. Like, that's my little bro. I love that. Love that kid, man. That's dope. That's dope. So, but he had that mentality, like, people look at him different. People, he hates being called white. Right. He's full Mexican. Yeah. He hates being called white. Hates the fact that people think because he comes from, wealthy family that he's a spoiled whatever. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, he got the drip that NBA players get. But he works for it. Yeah. He's a great kid. He had a 4.4 GPA coming out of Jesuit. Big time. But he wants to prove himself, and he does it not for him only. He does it for his family. I love that. That's the mentality. Yeah. And I can go down a list like Ty Roberts, like gritty, grind. Like Ty reminds me of me growing up more. Okay. And he just wants it because he wants to. Single mom. He's cool with his dad, but he grew up with his mom and his sisters. He's the only. Wow. So, like, he wants to take care of the family. He wants to get this money type of thing.
So he got that inner drive.
That, man. Yeah. Like, and I tell people this story all the time. He emailed me.
Ty,
when we were to train, when he was 12 or 13, he sent me an email. And I've never got an email from a kid. And you could tell his mom.
Very mature.
Very mature, but you could tell, like, his mom probably, like, proofread it. It was so, like... But I met him because he went to Wood Creek, and I used to meet him at the Cal Fair. I used to train Noah at in Foothill, in Roseville. But I would see him all the time, but he was like afraid to approach me because Noah at the time was just like, But he emailed me, and it was like, cool. And I'm like, oh, yeah, come the first training, man. This dude, I had to tell him, like, yo, relax. It's good. You're allowed to make a mistake. Yeah. Like, he was going 1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah. This is when he was 12, 13?
Yeah, 12. I think it was 13. Okay. 13 or 14. But I was impressed with the kid work ethic. Like, he wasn't really like that. Yeah. None of these dudes were. And then the other thing, too, is mentality. Like I said, I work with kids because their mentality. Not because and a lot of people think that I own. That's another thing too. I forgot to mention. A lot of people thought that, or still think, I only work with the top players.
Right.
they don't know that I developed the players that they see now.
Yep.
I developed them.
Mm-hmm.
I met Jordan. I first saw Jordan Ford when he was 9.
Yeah.
Issa when he was 10. Tyrell Rouse when he was 13. Jordan Brown when he was 14. Noah Blackwell when he was 12.
Wow.
It's a slow process. People don't understand.
Yeah.
They just don't get it.
And so now sometimes people feel like, oh, I only work with that type. Like, nah, these are my dudes.
Yeah.
You start from scratch.
Scratch.
You start from the bottom.
And then the other thing, too, if you think about that statement is like, regardless if you feel that way, it says something about who I am because if a top-tier player wants to come work out with me, they trust my knowledge and what I can give to them because they're already at this level anyway. If they feel like I can give something more to them, then that should show you that I'm actually really good at what I do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're a master at your craft. All right.
Dope.
Well, let's get straight to hot takes. Wrong button. Always do that. There we go. There you go. There's the right button. Okay. So, just a quick thing. AAU tryouts are coming up for middle school, and they've already started for 6th grade and below. I always think this is kind of an interesting time because high school is going on. So I want to say, and maybe for you it might be different, but I want to say, for me, I can speak on it. I think most trainers, business gets a little slower around this time because obviously your high school guys are playing high school. Your the middle school kids and younger, you fit it in where you can, but they obviously have their AAU season and stuff coming up. Just wanted to speak on that as far as business being a little slower. How do you maneuver it? Like, I work UPS. That's my normal job on top of
Chris
my
don't
training.
sleep. Chris don't sleep.
I sleep.
He's like, I don't sleep.
I sleep a little bit sometimes, but that you maneuver. You figure out ways and different things like that. Just curious for you, how do you kind of maneuver this slow time?
So I'm always trying to figure out what can I provide as a trainer during the slow time. So I do film session. I try to do stuff like that.
I know Mark's big on that one too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do written workouts. I used to, pre-COVID, I actually used to travel a lot during the season.
Okay.
I used to travel to go, like, my kid that I used to play at Howard, he was able to. His parents would pay me to go out there for a week or so and kind of like evaluate. So I would do that type of stuff. I'll do some Zoom trainings with people internationally.
Okay.
But I'm into other stuff. Like, I'm into like crypto and all that.
That's smart.
I'm learning that stuff, and I'm trying to evolve in that sense. But now I'm working on that content, that online stuff. So now I'll be able to still provide a service, for in season, where people will still pay for that, in the sense of like, I'm not there, they can't get to me because I get it. So I've been able to maneuver, recently, but COVID kind of changed some things. So
of course,
that's why I do this full time. By the way, full time.
Right.
And then also, I'm pretty smart with my money.
Yeah,
I save,
there you go.
Grind.
Yeah, I'm pretty frugal. I don't I don't pay for shit. I still go to the Dollar Tree.
Hey man, it's
just like anybody else.
Man,
that's how you become rich or stay rich.
Exactly. Yeah. I want to we're going to do something a little new for this episode. We're going to try to incorporate this more. I want to do a quick video reaction. Okay. We're going to watch a little video on my phone real quick. Obviously, for you guys checking out on YouTube, we're going to edit it to where, it's going to be right there. If you are listening, I'll play it on the mic real quick so you guys know what we're talking about. But the quick version is, at Carlisle High School, a basketball player knocked the hell out of this guy in the shake hands line. Afterwards, it's a little 2-minute video real quick. We'll check it out, let you guys listen to it, and then we'll react to it. So hold on one sec. Let me get through these ads.
I think he like two-pieced them.
Yeah.
Player now charged with willful injury after a fight last week in a game against Nevada. Police say 17-year-old Chad Parasil threw a punch at an opposing team member and knocked him out.
And the injured player also needed stitches. KCCI senior reporter Todd Magel has the story and the video tonight that's going viral.
We're at Carlisle High School, where students we spoke with say everybody today is talking about the big fight. The Carlisle-Nevada basketball game just ended and the players were in the post-game handshake line. That's when the fight began. Take a close look. Instead of shaking hands, it appears Carlisle player number 4 throws a couple surprise punches and Nevada player number 5. The first punch to the stomach, the second punch to the jaw. The Nevada player appears to be knocked out as he falls to the floor. Several more students join in the fight. It was a shock for those fans.
Yeah, you see the TikTok. You can't get away with shit nowadays in this.
That's pretty rough.
Do you think it was appropriate?
I think they could have handled their argument in a different way.
School officials confirmed the Carlisle player is Carter Prenticehill. The Nevada player is Ty Dittmer.
Damn.
Prenticehill was not in classes at Carlisle High School today. In a statement to KCCI, Carlisle Superintendent Bryce Amos says, quote, "This is without question an unfortunate incident that is not representative of the school culture that exists in Carlisle Community School District.
Of course
I want to
not.
make it clear that this type of conduct is not tolerated at Carlisle CSD." Nevada Superintendent Dr. Steve Gray sent us a statement saying, quote, "It was a very unfortunate and disturbing situation. Fortunately, it sounds like our student athlete is going to be all right. I'm very appreciative of the response of our coaches and players, as well as the Carlisle administration, for quickly de-escalating the situation."
Well, so you saw that.
Yeah.
You guys saw him get knocked out. You guys watching on YouTube, you're going to see it, and I'm going to have the link for that news article. Just obviously my quick reaction. And to add another little more layer of context, the rumor is, as I was researching this because I want people to hear it all, apparently the kid that got punched during the course of the game was talking shit about that kid's sister. And again, this is all allegedly. Nothing's proven yet. And the kid's sister has Down syndrome. And I want to say I'm more inclined to believe it had to be something to that egregious because most of the time, especially even with high school kids and we hoopers, we understand it, to really square up in the shake hands line, like somebody crossed the line, like somebody said something that was way over the top. So I don't know if that was specifically it. For those who have heard me on the show and those who might not know, I have a daughter who's autistic. She's 9. So I can understand how something like that could hit home really big. Now, if that wasn't the case, then that kid who punched him, you're a fucking idiot. And your basketball career is going to be done for quite a while. And the good part is you're young. Maybe you'll learn from this mistake. But that's my overall reaction. Just, obviously you don't want to see the kids fight. You don't want to see the kids square up. If it was the case that the guy said something that out of line, you deserve what you got. Sorry, don't feel bad for you. If you didn't, kids, learn from his mistake. Control your goddamn emotions. So what do you guys got?
I mean, for me, I feel like, again, for him to do that in the line while everybody's there, it must have been really bad with that kid. Because I feel like, if you really going to get that heated, just wait till after the game, go in the parking lot. But for you to, he was waiting.
And he
strategized.
Punched him. Like, it wasn't like a shove. It was like, no.
Hit him 2 feet.
Yeah, he did. Looking to kill, too.
Yeah.
For real.
I agree with you guys. Yeah. You don't know what was said, but you just never know what people are going through, man.
Yeah.
And if allegedly, if that's what happened, I feel like that's was. I think he was being nice because he could have punched him in the face. He hit him in the stomach first, and then probably hit him with something else. But that's I never seen. That was kind of wild. That was wild, actually. That's crazy.
I don't know if I don't know what the fuck I would do if I saw that, but man, that's pretty crazy. So, that's our little segment. Want to do more of that for future episodes, get little crazy videos and get reactions out of it. Let's talk NBA, right? The good fun stuff. Let's go straight to it with the Lakers. Well, first off, who's your favorite NBA team? You got one?
I'm from North Carolina, so I ride with the Hornets.
Okay, all right. Okay. That's good. Not your typical team in our show that everyone, it's California, it's Lakers, Clippers, Warriors. So that's what's up. Good. And you're obviously, you guys are on a good upswing right now, so no doubt with that. I wanted to talk the first topic with Vogel being blamed for the Lakers struggling. Is that correct, incorrect? We agree on that. Stephen A said some wild shit like he usually does, saying, I think Vogel's going to be fired. I mean, what do we think, Mark? Where are we at with that?
It's not Vogel. It
Okay.
ain't Vogel. It ain't Vogel. It's not Vogel. From a standpoint, as a Laker fan, from the standpoint of, well, everybody's been injured. If LeBron ain't in the lineup, who's the best player? That's like if Michael Jordan wasn't playing, you can't really evaluate the Bulls unless Michael Jordan is playing. But Ariza is hurt, Nunn is hurt. You know what I'm saying? People just been in and out. So to me, that's the biggest thing that we haven't gotten that stride. Last night against the Celtics, they look pretty good. Everybody, Westbrook is he's getting to the rack.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? He's starting to figure it out a little bit. But to me, to be honest, I'm with Charles Barkley. I don't know what's going on with AD right now. You know what I'm saying? He's 27. Like he said, he's in his prime, 90% from the three. And his jumper used to be wet. I don't know what's been going on. So to me, it's not Vogel at all. Like Vogel's actually a really good coach. He is a championship coach. So to me, it's more on the availability of players not being around because of injuries. And at the same time, AD is supposed to be a top 10. He made the 75, all 75, and Dwight Howard ain't on that list. And Dwight Howard's been balling. So
Stop the cap.
AD should not be on that motherfucking list. I don't care what you say.
Right?
I just had to point. I'm not saying you agree with it, but fuck that. Fuck ESPN on that. Stop the cap, man.
So that's where I'm at. I don't think it's Vogel.
All right, fair enough. You got any? You got any thoughts on any of that shit?
I agree. I don't think it's Vogel. I think it's
okay.
First of all, they're vetted teams, so they should be able to pull it together. Yeah. I just think they're not meshing right now, and one, I'm a little disappointed in Westbrook. I think he's being exposed with his skill set.
How dare you?
That's what Westbrook says,
I like him as a player,
right?
But like, come on, man. Yeah. You shooting off the side of the backboard.
Yeah. The turnovers are ridiculous.
Like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? You're a pro. Like,
well, you got to think when Westbrook shoot, this is exactly what he's thinking.
He's on fire.
Every time. every time he shoot, that's what's going on in his mind. So it is what it is, man. I totally agree with everything you guys said. The Suns win streak ended. Shout out to my Warriors for doing that. I am a Warriors fan, and I'm a true Warriors fan. Like when we fucking sucked, I was still a Warriors fan.
Nate Robinson.
Yes, exactly. I'm from Oakland. Trust me, I was there for Run TMC. All right, I'm not the bandwagon fan. All right, I always have to validate that shit. All right, so, but Suns. Man, I mean, Suns Warriors looking like good.
They
look good. True, strong Western Conference teams. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them. Because even still, what the Suns did, amazing work. I think Chris Paul is just he is just defying father time right now. You know what I mean?
I think they play on Christmas for the third game because it's 1-1.
Yeah.
I need to see Booker in the lineup, Clay in the lineup,
right.
and why. And then that's what I want to see because of course they played like so and so's injured.
Yeah.
Booker got the hamstring.
Right.
So I want to see that Christmas game. I think that's going to kind of give us a little preview of who might. I mean, I still believe in my Lakers, but that's a little preview who might come out of the West.
And Sean, have you been watching the Warriors and watching some of the NBA stuff?
Yeah. First of all, shout out Chris Paul, North Carolina.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly,
I played against him in high school.
Really?
Busted our ass. It's all right.
Yeah.
He that dude? He was that dude?
Pretty good.
Man, I remember the playoff game. He's a year older than me. Maybe 2 years. I can't remember. But either way, I played varsity as a sophomore, and playoffs we were playing against. He went to West Forsyth High School, so I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. He's Winston-Salem. That's like Rockland, the Sac.
Right. Okay.
And Chris Paul was, first of all, he was chubby.
Yeah.
He wasn't really like you
right.
know. And the scout was for their wing. They had this dude on their team that was just like, he was like 6'5", had a jump. I don't know where this dude is, but the scout was for him.
Yeah.
The scout on Chris Paul was very solid, great passer. He runs the team, whatever. This dude gave us 10 points in 30 seconds off tip-off, coach called timeout. I was like, who the hell's guarding this dude? We just like, well, the dude you scouted,
right.
he has no points.
Yeah, wow.
But nah, man, he was in after that. And I think that was his junior year.
Okay.
So he was 1 year older than me. And then he became who he was. And then senior year, he had a 61-point game and went on Wake Forest and his thing. So, but anyway, so yeah, I mean, I've been watching, man. I'm excited about it. I love how the game evolved. I love. Shout out Steph, North Carolina too.
Right, yeah, true.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm a huge
all the
fan.
skilled players coming out of North Carolina.
For real.
That's crazy.
I'm a huge fan of Stephen Curry. I'm not really a Warriors fan, but I like Steve Kerr a lot.
Yeah.
I like what they've built there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I respect game, man.
I think
It's fun to
our
watch them.
Warriors office has definitely done a
Man.
phenomenal
Starts at
job.
the top,
You know
man.
what I mean?
Starts at the top.
It's just the culture there. So just on quick news, for those listening, and obviously this might change by the time the show airs because everything's always changing. But DeRozan's out for COVID protocols, so
shit.
unfortunately he's out for 10 days. Obviously the Bulls are going to miss him. You know, the Bulls have kind of been, I mean, they've been exciting overall, but what I'm saying is the Bulls have kind of been considered like the Eastern version of the Warriors, right? Where they're great team basketball, synergy, defense, you know, all the above. And DeRozan's been playing amazing these past few
MVP
games.
candidate, to be honest with you.
For real.
MVP candidate.
Just a quick question, you guys. I think this 10-day stint, I think they played Cleveland and a couple of other teams. I still think they're going to win the way they've been playing. Obviously, DeRozan's a huge piece. It's not like you can just replace that. But I think they'll figure it out. What do you guys think for the Bulls? You think they're going to keep rolling and just keep winning and keep going in stride? All right, cool.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure.
They play well together.
Yeah, they do. So on the other news, Dame Lillard asking for an extension, and this contract's fucking ridiculous. He wants $107 million for 2 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
Which means he would be, if this happens, well, that's a big if, but if it gets approved, he'd be the highest paid single season of all time. It'd be $55 million, and that'd be the highest paid of any player all time.
Yeah.
So, you think Portland's going to cave in and do that? Or I feel he's doing it because he wants out.
yes, that's what I believe. Like he's I feel, and I think with that deal too. I think after that, like I think he's available for that supermax until he's like 36. So they would have to pay him until he's 36. But like what you were saying, I'm with you. I think he's big on. He's been saying the loyalty thing. He don't want to jump ship and join super teams.
His organization hasn't done their job. I mean, it's just. Like
and
what you were saying.
I just think it's another way for him, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they're going to give it to him, but it's going to give him that reason so he can go on another team and be like, hey, I didn't necessarily force myself out.
Right.
Or I didn't, like, they just didn't pay me, and I feel like I should have been paid. So I feel like he's in a win-win situation because now he won't be judged because of all the stuff that he's been saying. Like, I don't jump super teams. I want to stay here at Portland. It's going to end up being that Portland basically wasn't loyal to him.
Yeah.
I think that's what this narrative is going to be. But he's about to be, somebody's going to get him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
I want him to get one.
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I mean,
man works hard. And
He's playing the big stage.
Yes, he has. And I'm, he's not necessarily having his best season right now, but that happens. He'll figure it out. But yeah, I just thought that was a monumental piece of news. He's potentially going to be paid the highest single season.
That's crazy.
The last couple of things before we move on in NBA news, recent picture came out of Zion Williams. And that motherfucker big. And a rumor is he is up to 330 pounds.
I believe it.
Wow.
Did you happen to see that?
I haven't seen it.
Look it up when you get a chance. It's like him in the crowd just saying what's up to the fans. And
He's big, bro.
He's
big.
He's pretty big. I mean, he looks like a guy at 24-hour fitness big. Like, like that guy that's like, I'm just here to get some reps in. Like, he's that big. Like, I'm like, shit, bro. This dude's an NBA player out here
How's
looking.
that happen?
I feel like that's just another way for him just to get out of New Orleans, to be honest with you. I feel like
To do that to your body?
He took James Harden's fat suit.
I don't know, man. I just feel like
Shit.
I feel like because I keep seeing pictures of him when he was at Duke. And then like last year he averaged like 27. Like he had a big year. And then at the same time, I'm assuming the weight is, I mean, with his injuries, that's affecting the injuries. You got all that weight on. But at the same time, I don't know. I feel like I don't see him retiring as a Pelican. So it's like, I feel like this is, and again, I could be wrong, where he just like, I don't give a fuck right now. And again, I don't know if he has that Ben Simmons mentality where it's just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not healthy right now. I'm taking my time. Because like I said, I've seen players, like even like somebody like LeBron, where they're gonna do whatever it takes to get back on the floor. I don't know. It's just a different generation now where people are gonna take their time and recover. But the weight though, I feel like you don't need to be on the treadmill necessarily to lose weight. Right. So it's like, what are you eating?
Everything.
Everything. Right. He's in New Orleans.
Yeah,
he got some good food.
He have great food.
But I want to add to that. I mean, again, we talked about this. You never know what's going on.
Yeah, true. That's true.
But if nothing's going on, if you're a professional player, you have an opportunity to be like one of the main dudes.
Yeah,
like, you got to take care of your body, man.
Real. And then the last subject, and it's just because he's such a weird character right now, is Ben Simmons. The biggest thing, allegedly, he's going broke. Because apparently, like I said, I'm researching it. He has 2 mansions, I believe 2 or 3. One in Philadelphia, which is fucking ridiculous because it's like, why did you buy a mansion in Philadelphia when this whole city hates you? You can't even move normal. Like, why out of all places would you have bought one? And apparently he buys a new car every other month.
That's gotta be,
if not every month. Yeah.
Stop the cat.
Let's hope that is. Let's hope that is. I'ma hope that is. But he also apparently, he likes women. Typical light skinned nigga traits, I guess. And he goes out, and he's young doing his thing, I guess. But yeah, apparently he's like going broke, like to the point where he might suit up.
Them fines.
Yeah, and
he gotta show up and go to practice.
So I don't know. He is. I'm telling you, man. He annoys me to the core, not because of who he is, because I don't know the motherfucker, so I can't speak on who he's. But I just see so many AAU kids, because I'm in this AAU world, and I'm at YBA, and when we're in full swing, we're at 50-something teams. I'm co-director here, so imagine all the phone calls and texts. Chris, this coach didn't. Well, I'm not the fucking coach. I don't care. It's his decision. Like, I hire my coaches to coach, not to tell them how to coach. Like, there's so much of this, pouty bullshit mentality. I think Ben Simmons is like an NBA embodiment of it all. Yeah, and it's fucking just annoys me. It just does. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If he's going broke and things like that, you guys got any thoughts on any of that shit?
First of all, that's on him,
right?
Second of all, it's probably his circle.
Yeah, he ain't got no friends if they just let him do that shit. Like, your real friends are at least gonna be like, "Hey, bro, like, come on, man, like, you tripping right now." So I don't know,
man. I hope not, right? Because that's just on.
That don't make. And isn't he? He's a Rich Paul guy. He's a
LeBron.
He's a LeBron.
He is
I'm like, wait a minute, like, what's going? Like,
again, that's allegedly that he's living this extravagant lifestyle. Which, to be fair, there's definitely a big history and culture of basketball players, football players, all of them. Any sport where these guys do that, they lose millions. You would think they'd learn, but.
And I feel like going back to what you were saying also is like, not saying it's an excuse, but we necessarily don't know what he's going through mentally. Because again, at the end of the day, he was pretty, like they scrutinized him, like when it came to the shooting, and we all know as players, you know what I'm saying, like, who knows what he's going through mentally, if he is going through something mentally, or he is just laughing at all of us and being like, I'm gonna do what I need to do. But like, some of the stuff that he's doing right now is pretty. Like, even if he does get on the team, like, this is gonna kind of mess up his reputation just for years to come. So
absolutely,
who knows what is going through his head right now?
Well, that's enough with the NBA news. Let's go to Respectfully Disrespectful. Hadouken! I want us people to know Yeah, we're gonna throw some shit your way, and this is obviously the part where you're either gonna like what we have to say or you don't give a shit. This is a lot of, in my opinion, I'm the bad guy on the show. If you couldn't tell,
this is Chris's favorite part. It's basically like if you. It's funny when we talk about you, how you are like you got the angel on here and you got the devil here. This guy right here, man. This is my favorite part. Like, who we talking shit about right now?
So let's talk about the basketball training, coaching, AAU, whatever, culture in Sacramento, right? Just in general. Like you said, people might get the impression you try to big time them or something like that because you're training these high-level athletes and they feel like, oh, this dude don't want to work with me because he thinks he's better than me and all that shit. Have you guys ever experienced anybody out here big timing you or felt like, oh, you're beneath me or something like that? Have you guys ever run across that? I feel, I'll speak on my part first real quick. For the most, like I said, for the most part, even joking on Blair's episode, I haven't felt that too much. A little bit though sometimes when it comes to this show, because there's like people I've texted and said, hey, you want to do the show or whatever, and they've looked at it, left it on red, or basically ignored it. I've even heard from other people have tried to talk shit about this show, especially in the beginning. They were like, oh, that shit ain't gonna last, or it's
you have to say
exactly like just because again I came up with an idea of why don't I sit down with people working in the trenches and get their stories, and again I try to make this a cool, relaxed environment where we can just chill, talk basketball, and go home. So I feel I've been big time a couple of times by a few people. To be fair, I'm trying to think like majorly who I think did that the most. Well, like I said, I was joking about KP, but he did the fucking episode, so I was joking about him. And then Ryan at Test Shoot, and I joke about him too. I just think he's a busy guy. I don't, but I want to say like Dion. Well, Dion's my guy too. I don't think he's big time me. I just think he's busy as shit. Dion Taylor, he's a movie director from Sacramento, and he hoops and stuff like that. That's my guy, but he's just always busy as shit too. I just think most of the people I do are busy as shit. But I do think there is some of that in Sac, this like culture of hate, or I'm better than you, or fuck you, I don't want to support you because it's not supporting me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wonder if you guys experience stuff like that.
I experienced it once, but then it came back around where they talked to me. They gave me respect. I think it's just because I was just younger. Or not younger. I haven't been in the game as long as they have.
Right.
And then after one of my players did something, they actually reached out to me. Was like, yo, I see you doing your thing. Much respect to you. Blah blah blah.
Did that person like ever apologize or even acknowledge it, or they just kind of like
they didn't really acknowledge it, but it was more so like no, they didn't really acknowledge it, and I wasn't looking for it. And I didn't care.
Right.
But it was interesting to get that random text or just saying, because I think they felt like they had to, because I'm here now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Because I feel the same way. Like, whether you rock with me or don't, it ain't gonna stop what the fuck I'm doing. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, and then Mark, I know you've talked about this a couple of times.
When it comes to like the training side, like in the area that I'm in, like I don't really have that. Like I don't. There's not too many trainers like in my area, but like I told you before, and it's not even about the big timing. There's. And it's funny because I just talked to a parent about it. I have a player that's going through this right now, and it's so fucked up. But with high school coaches, we talked about this before, and I don't know if you've encountered it, but there's high school coaches that, again, I'm not going to say names, but you can kind of know in the small area that I live in, that there have been coaches because of, I feel, and again, like my impact, really just my dedication and the time that I'm investing with these kids. Of course, I know a lot of high school coaches aren't going to train kids from 4:30 a.m. till then, or stay up late at night. And of course, that's fine. But it's like, I hate when I see coaches, because they see that kids are GGT, they train with me, and I'm able to still find a way, whether it's the training or help them after high school, because I have connections and I know people basically put the kid down or not play the kid. Or if I go to a game, they see me in the stands, he's not going to get minutes because he trains with GGT. Like on some real shit, like I just talked about a parent today about that, and a kid, one of my kids who's really, really good. And now we're to a point that they are thinking about switching schools. I'm like, wait a minute, like we put in all this work, and now it's to a point where this kid is not going to get to have a season because he trains with me. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm going through, which again, like there's not too many trainers in my area. So I can see why high school coaches in my area are threatened by me or have this ego over me, because like you, I do this full time. So it's like I'm in the trenches and I love it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so just because the kid is training with me, you're not going to give him minutes. You're not going to help him go to college. Which to me, again, like I'm going to do whatever it takes to help them, but it's like it shouldn't be like that. We should be working together. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a Dixon thing. I don't know if it's a Davis thing, a Vacaville thing, a Winners thing, a Woodland thing. I'm not going to put no names out. You know the schools in that area. But for me, I don't do this for the schools. I do this for the kids and the families. That's all. That's what I do it for. So I'm kind of pissed off right now just thinking about it.
Don't worry about it. Tell them get over it.
But yeah,
Shit.
so that's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, no, I mean, that's good stuff. I mean, like, yeah, if for your high school coaches or I know the players, high school coaches, we have a lot of different people that listen to this show. So, and check it out. Just understand that the men in this room, our loyalty is to our kids first and foremost. And you know, I believe we do a good service for our community. I believe we're staples in our basketball community, and we're all finding different levels of success. I said it on my last episode with Blair. I think of trainers, same as coaches, same as teams. We're just different ways to get the same result, basically, right? Because I always tell my teams this when I coach. I say, different teams are different ways to get the same shots. That's all it is. Right. It's, I mean, when you really break it down, the Suns and the Warriors are taking the same shots. It's just different ways they go about it. That's all. So I say trainers, essentially, we're the same thing. We ultimately have the same destination for our players. We just have different ways we go about it. And then you're going to figure out what suits you and what works for you and what doesn't. You know what I mean? And it's good to. I shouldn't say it's good. I wish there was more of a sense of community, more of a sense of let's work together, let's collaborate, let's do what's in the best interest of the athlete. Of course, it doesn't invalidate that we got to make some money. We got to feed our families. Like you have a price point, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't believe that there's anything inherently wrong with knowing your self-worth, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But this sense of this kid's mine, or I don't want you around that guy because I'm afraid he's going to take you, or something like that. It's Lowe said it on his episode. He said if you're afraid the relationship is going to be broken because a kid goes to the Oakland Soldiers or trains with, then that relationship wasn't very authentic anyway. You know what I mean? It just wasn't. And I've learned through my experience that, you are going to run into some of those inauthentic relationships, and it's okay, right? You know what I mean? So I don't know. That's just my last little piece. Sean, you got anything to add or anything with that?
Yeah, I do actually. Speaking on coaches, if you're listening,
they will be. Trust me. People listen. They won't admit it, but they listen.
Right?
High school coaches specifically, stop putting players in positions where it's only going to help you win as a coach in high school and not develop them and get them better for college. I hate seeing that.
Yes.
For instance,
let's go more.
When Noah was at Wood Creek, he's being recruited as a point guard. He played the 3.
Yeah.
Issa Silva is a point guard. Y'all seen The Ball's Life. Ricky Rubio 2.0.
Right.
He hates that.
I bet he does.
I'm just, don't worry about it, E. Yeah, I'm just trying to make a point. You are who you are. At Jesuit, he played the 3 and the 4.
Oh, shit.
And my thing is, and nothing against the Jesuit coach or Wood Creek coach, great dudes. They were for the kids, I think.
To a point.
Mm-hmm. But why would you put a player out of a position that he's being recruited for when that can be an advantage?
Yeah.
You have a big point guard. There's not big point guards in Sacramento like that.
No.
But if you have some that are like 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", that plays the point, you can actually win doing that.
Yeah, I agree. Totally.
And it bothers me because these coaches, I think they're looking at winning now and not developing, especially if you have a kid that's going to play. And it for sure is going to play in college. You got to help them out.
Yes.
Don't box them in.
Yep.
The other thing is understanding skill development along, like, these coaches want to have a million plays, but the kids can't dribble, shoot, pass, or, do whatever.
Yeah.
Why not in practice get after it skill-wise on some of the stuff you need to do within their play?
Yes.
You running all these defense, you running all these, you got a million plays. Like, dude, some of these kids probably ain't going to play in college. So
Yeah.
Yep.
why are you running all that stuff?
Exactly.
Why you – all right, I'm
No, I get you. I get you.
Going back to what he said, though, but at the same time, why hurt the kid or put shame on the trainer when they're going outside of school to put in extra work
to make it
So because they're thinking of the bigger picture, and that's why, like, for me and you, like, the mentorship side of trying to keep some of these kids' heads up, because a lot of kids who can't get to a trainer or be able to meet you or meet me, I feel like that's what makes them lose passion for the game, because they meet these high school coaches who tell them, like you said, put them in a box, and then they're just like, okay, I don't want to play ball anymore. Like, I don't like basketball. Like, and to me, that's what makes me mad where coaches are doing that. So, yeah, bro, I'm happy you said that too.
Yeah, man.
Well, Sean, I appreciate you being here, brother. I would love to talk more and more basketball, but I got to get my ass to my own game. I got men's league, old league, man. I'm going to be late. I don't give a shit. But, no, man, thank you for taking the time. I really do. Getting to sit down, talk with you, pick your brain, really get to know you, man. If you ever want to do a part 2, part 3, part 4, feel free, come to the fucking episode, man.
Love to, man.
Keep updated. For those listening and watching, I will have his social media links in the description. Follow his journey. As I always say, follow my guest's journey. I'm very excited to get more and more people on the show and really hear their stories. I think what Sean's doing is amazing product for the basketball community and the community of Sacramento. So keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Appreciate it.
Mark, did you have anything to add?
This ain't coming from him, but I believe he is the best or one of the best player development specialists. I'm not saying trainer out here in Sacramento. So I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Nah, just playing. No, just fuck with you. No. He absolutely. You definitely are recognizable in what you're doing, man. And I think you inspire a lot of us. You inspire guys like Mark and myself. Obviously, I'm just a little more heavy on the AAU side, but I always observe what guys are doing out there. So much respect.
Thank you.
Big shout outs to Austin Lobo. Want to give you a shout out, man, for sharing us. Big shout outs to everybody who tagged us in the Sac Trending Award stuff. Really appreciate that. Hopefully we get out there. Shout out to JT and his podcast, 94 Feet with JT. He just followed us and commented today, so big shout out to him and what you're doing. Our Patreon members, everybody. Thank you for everybody who's supporting. We appreciate you big time. Stay safe out there. Obviously COVID is still a thing. Keep you and your family safe. Christmas is coming up. be close to your loved ones, man. Take care of your family. We hope to hear you come next episode, and we are out.
Appreciate it.